Okay, so I'm developing this table, trying to make it a more permanent fixture, also looking into recording some of my painting, but I found that, you know, whilst I'm working at the moment, the table's just a little bit too crowded for my liking. So I'm gonna try and offload some of this stuff, or bring some stuff over from here so I can move some stuff around. I'm trying to go offload it onto the wall and see how that goes. So I've got this wall space here, which is brick, and this here, which is brick as well. The common solution for this is either buy more shelves, which, yep, that's one way of doing it. Or a lot of people online use the Ikea Skadis pegboard, and then they 3D print loads of paint holders that plug in to the pegboard. Nice and easy. I do have these, I think they're called the Uppdatera or something like that. And they're similar to the Skadis, but they're segmented. These are used for holding dishes, and I originally used them for hanging figures up on the wall, figures in their packaging. And that was cool for a while. It was from my Nintendo Amiibo, but I've offloaded that to shelves downstairs. So now I'm gonna try and reuse these there. Now they're not as strong as a pegboard because of the segments, but I think given that only, you know, pretty light paints are going on it and maybe a few brushes, it should be okay. So I'm going to bolt these into the wall or screw them into the wall, just see how they look. And then I think what I will do is, because they are slightly different than the Skadis, I'm gonna design and 3D print something that either slots onto these pegs or hooks over them that can hold paint bottles, and I can take them on and off. So the two units I have are up, and they're quite sturdy. They're literally just screwed in to the wall, nothing special. Because they flex a little bit in the middle, I did screw the centers in just a tiny bit as well, 1 or 2 screws here or there, just to make sure they don't flex. You know, is it the best, neatest, straightest thing in the world? Probably not, but I think it will do the trick. So I've arranged the pegs on how I think I can maximize the space and also give it a bit extra support. So, you know, they link the center and side segments together. So my thought is I will have a tray that will go over these pegs here, and you'll be able to fit, you know, how many bottles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 to 6 bottles of dropper. You know, Vallejo, Game Colour, Army Painter, AK, green stuff, all that type of stuff. And it will just hang over there and possibly even go too deep if I require it. And it should hold up quite nicely, I think. So that's the initial setup. And you know, you could also do alternatives like baskets to put your brushes in and stuff like that, and I might look into that. But the next thing for me to do is to model something and get it printed off. Now, I've not used my FDM printer in about 1.5 years, so that should be fun. But I'll get something modelled, I'll get it all measured up, you know, the distance between the pegs, how tall they need to be, the holes in the middle. Potentially might even do a Citadel or Pro Acryl variant to hold those specific cups. No idea yet, but I'm going to get to modelling that, and then hopefully next time you see me, which might be in a few days' time, because I'm not going to do it right now, I might have 1 or 2 of these filled out. So let's have a look. See you then. So this is what I've gone ahead and created. It's a 2-tier holder. These hooks on the side should hopefully do the job of hanging on the pegs, and there should be enough surface area there so that this should be quite stable. But yeah, all in all, it should hold a chunky amount of paints. Each tier, as you can see, holds 7, and given the measurements, it should hopefully fit. Anywho, I'm going to go ahead now and take this to Creality Slicer. So here it is in Creality Slicer. I mean, I've not used my FDM printer, like I said, for around about 1.5 years, maybe a bit longer. it's been on the shelf collecting dust, so I'm going to have to re-hook that up and make sure it's all unclogged and clean and do a test print. But according to the slicer, this is going to take around about 12 hours to print. It needed some supports. I'm not a massive FDM printer guy, so no doubt these are probably far from optimal settings, but I'm going to print it out in the lowest quality possible as fast as I believe it should take, and then see how it goes. So this is version 1.0. No doubt it's going to need a revision of some kind, but we'll see how it turns out. I'll catch up with you then. And for all intents and purposes, I think it's come out pretty good. You know, considering the machine's been laying around for a good chunk of time. Let's take off these supports. Okay, so there is the prototype. I've had to do a little bit of gluing around there to try and salvage it, but I think I'm going to test fit this now. It's probably going to break here. I'm going to go back and design some thicker handles. I think everything else seems okay. It's just these handles on the side seem a bit flimsy. Plus, with the amount of support that printed for it, part of me thinks maybe I should just make these tiers separate and print them flat on the bed, and it saves all the support. Then again, I just did auto supports. I could possibly get away with something like tree supports, and by redesigning these elements here, I could maybe make that a complete ring and thicker, meaning that you won't need all this support on the side, which ultimately led to this breakage here, I think. Okay, so here goes a test fit. Let's just make sure these are completely straight. So the good side hooks over. I don't think this bad side will, but okay, it does. And does it fit dropper balls? And there we have it. I mean, to be fair, I actually think this could actually fit a third tier. And part of me is wondering if I should make the second tier higher. Because at the moment, where I'm sat, it's pretty tough to see the second row. I could maybe reduce it and then alternate them. But, you know, it works. I think the prototype was a success. I can go away now and do a few edits on this and get myself something that should be pretty sweet and sorted. Okay, let's go and do that. So here we are back in Maya. The one on the left is the old one, and the one on the right is the revised design. So what did I change? First of all, and most notably, the handles. So this area here on the original was very flimsy. It's one of those things I model on a 32-inch monitor, and it's obviously a lot bigger on screen than it actually turns out in real life. So yeah, that misled me a little bit. So instead, what I've done now is I've bolt, I don't know what you want to call it, the hook up, and I've also made it so that the bottom of it, instead of having supports that build all the way up to the top, I've just reused that support material in essence and made it part of the design, so it should make the design more rigid and stronger because of that, and yeah, and hopefully waste less material. I'm not having to break it away for supports. Next notable thing is I've made the rear baskets taller, or sit higher rather, so that you can better see the color and potentially the paint name behind it. They could probably go even higher, but I think for now this will do. And then on the rear, I had this Boolean arrangement here, which was in aid to save material, but
that was probably the wrong thing to do in retrospect. So what I've done is I still have the cutouts, but I've extended the rear all the way down to the print bed. Again, trying to salvage that support material that was usually generated and have it now as part of the design so it's stronger. And what I can do now is use less infill. I think I had it set to 10% infill, so I can probably reduce that down to like 5, maybe even 3%, and have it print from there, and it should overall be stronger. Okay, I'm going to save this, export it out, get it back in Creality Slicer, and see how long it's going to take us. So here it is again in Creality Slicer. I've made some amendments to the settings. Again, probably far from optimal. I'm a bit of a noob when it comes to FDM printing. 10 hours, 11 minutes I've got it down to. It should be able to print supportless. The handles might be a bit snotty, but I'm going to do it on the lowest quality again. The finish of the original prototype model was good enough for my needs as a functional part. In the middle, it was very, very strong and rigid. It was just the side bits that I thought were a bit poor, and the height of the rear. So we'll give this a shot and see how it goes. So, see you tomorrow, I guess.
So I may have went just a little bit overboard with this project. I'll show you what I mean. So that is the wall as it stands now. So you may notice a few things. Let me just kneel down here. Oh. So what do we have? You have the holders that are made, which hold 14 dropper bottles, which go on the pegs like so. You can stack them too deep if you want. I've done it this way so that I can still get to things in the back. But the great thing about these is you can take them off dead easy and rearrange them as you will. A brush holder, so some diamond shapes with brushes in. Again, goes on exactly the same way. I've left some room above it, obviously, so I can take the brushes out. More holders, and then also I've rotated the dropper holder on its side, rotated it by 90 degrees, added a larger hole in the bottom so that the bottles can go in head first. And you can have this type of arrangement, which probably holds more in the grand scheme of things, but I do like having the colours face me so that I get to know the names of them. Whereas this one, I know how they are at the moment, but there is a potential for some confusion, right? But we have opaque colours there, air colours, and then colour shifts. And then there's also a shelf version that I made, which has some projects on it at the moment. The good thing about these pegs as well is they're wide enough to accept and hold the paint holders that I use too. And moving out, that's how it looks on the wall. So I think they have came out pretty sweet, if I do say so myself. Again, they're too deep, so I can place more on there. I've got a little bit of room there to grow as well. It's made it so that I could get a lot of paints off my nail polish racks up onto the shelves so that I could actually put more stuff out on those racks too. But I don't have brushes on here now. All brushes are stored up there. My nicer brushes are boxed away, which I get out every painting session. The paint handles are up there. Any work in progress models are up there as well. So it gives me a lot more room on the table to mess around with. Yeah, there is how they look. I think they've turned out great. Let's go and have a quick look at what's been made and then finish up.
So here we are once again in Maya, and as you can see, these are the things I've made, which are currently sitting on that Uppdatera pegboard. So there was the old one that failed, unfortunately, because of the thickness and the rigidity of the hangers. And then I made the second version here, amended that, literally placed a shelf, did the same again with the diamond shape, so that is the paint holder, sorry, the brush holder. I made another one which was like a brace slash flat shelf, so that small little boxes could fit onto, which I no longer really need, but it's there anyway. got a spacer, and then we've got the rotated or the horizontal dropper holder. So I'm sure these can be amended very easily to fit, I don't know, Liquitex, Pro Acryl, Citadel, you name it, Dale Rooney. But there they are as they stand, and this is how I'm gonna utilize them. So that is the Uppdatera pegboard project. Is it a good alternative to the Skadis? Well, for some it could be. For me it was, because it saved me going out and purchasing one. It's something I already had at home, and I decided to make myself a little project. And the great thing is those files now I can print off whenever I want, and I can rearrange that many different ways. The pegs themselves are actually really useful too, allowing me to stack stuff 2 rows deep, so there's plenty of room for expansion if needed. As for the files, they're available for free. If you jump down to the description below, go onto my Patreon, become a free member, and the files will be available on a post for this video on there. You'll also be able to nab yourself over 500 3D printing files related to miniatures. So if you like 3D printing and you like D&D miniatures, jump on that Patreon, sign up for free. Any support is much appreciated. Speaking of support, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. A subscription to the channel goes a long way. We also have an Etsy and a My Mini Factory if you like to buy physical prints and files. So go and check them out. Links are in the description below. And with that, we've come to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.